Okay, I've got my laptop on, so I need to shut this one.
Yeah, we got two of you up here, Odin.
Yeah, I know.
Just, I would make sure you use
Okay.
one for sound because we're hearing you twice.
Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I finally shut this other one down.
Rachel, we need a motion to go in to have a electronic meeting, don't we?
Yes, somebody needs to read what's on the screen.
Oh, Lord, can you increase the size? There you go. The Headwaters Soil and Water Conservation District Board certifies that the nature of the declaration declaring COVID-19 emergency makes it impractical and unsafe for the board to assemble in a single location, and further that the agenda items to be taken up at this meeting are necessary to continue operations and discharge lawful purposes, duties, and responsibilities of the board. I move we approve that.
A second.
Oh, Buzz, I've got him. Rachel, you said we had a quorum. All I've got is 4 people.
There is Bobby, yourself, DuBose, Buzz, and Doug Horn.
Oh, okay. Oh, there he is. Okay. We got a motion properly seconded. All in favor?
Need a voice vote.
We got to go.
Need a roll call.
Bobby?
Yeah, roll call.
Bobby?
Yes.
Buzz?
Yes.
DeBose?
Yes.
And Doug?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Next on the okay, we've got a quorum. Additions to the agenda. Tillage survey.
Yes, we've added that under ag and cost share. That just
Okay,
came up
anything
last
else?
week.
Is there anything else? Okay, moving on, approval of the minutes of the January 19th meeting.
I make a motion that the January 19th meeting minutes be approved as distributed.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made, properly seconded. Any discussion about the minutes? All right. All in favor, say aye. Starting with Doug.
Aye.
DeBose,
Aye.
Buzz,
Aye.
and Bobby.
Aye.
Motion passed. Treasurer's report. Wendy? Oh, she's not here.
Wendy's not here today, so she asked me to let you guys know that the treasurer's report and budget appears in line overall, and we're on target as far as the budget goes, as certain income and expenses are either quarterly versus monthly, affect the monthly reports accordingly.
I move that the treasurer's report be approved as distributed.
For audit.
Or, I'm sorry, approved as for audit.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made to approve the treasurer's report for audit. Bobby?
Aye.
Buzz?
Aye.
Bose,
Aye.
and Doug.
Aye.
Motion approved. And then budget versus actual.
Everything's on target.
I see a lot of red, so that's good. All right, agency reports. Mark.
Greetings, everyone. Good morning. I hope you can hear me all right. Rachel, have you my report to display on the screen?
She is a coming.
All right. Oh, look at that. Ain't she a beauty? Don't need to really go over much of this. These disbursement letters went out on the 5th. You see a couple of reminders getting into the weeds of the cost share program. I think your staff is well aware of those particular items, but maybe directors appreciate a little look into the weeds. There are a few reminders of the admin and ops grant deliverables. Some of these things can be easy to overlook. And so I do tend to put some of these in occasionally in my written report, but nothing beats an actual reread of the 2 grant agreements that the district has with DCR. I would encourage directors to do that once in a while. Get that grant agreement out and take a look at it. Reminder, I don't think this is the first time, but the FOIA officer training requirement is changed as of July 1. It's actually in the positive direction. Training every 2 years instead of annually. Of course, a note about the General Assembly, and I'm sure you guys will talk about this a little bit later in the agenda. But I do really appreciate, as I'm sure many of you do, those updates from the association. And I must say again, it looks as though the cost share budget for the next fiscal year will be at least as robust as the one for this year. The tillage residue surveys, we'll talk about that later during the Ag B&P committee report, I presume. And a little note about the Ag B&P loan program. We may have talked about that last time. A few dates there. And the only thing I'll add to that is that because of the tillage survey business, we had a call that Christian participated in on Friday, the 12th. And we've got another one scheduled for the 19th at 1 p.m. and then a Q&A session on March 2. All of these will be recorded, and so anyone can review them at their leisure. But that'll be an interesting task. And again, we'll talk about that later on the agenda. So that's it from me for the moment, unless you have questions. And I did notice that Jim Eccles is participating. And I don't know if you wish to indulge him with a minute or two. But that's it for me for the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. I saw Jim. He's on. So, Jim, do you have anything to say?
No, I don't. It's just over the last few months, I feel like I haven't been in contact with districts, and I was feeling like I needed to spend some more time with y'all. And today's meeting actually was a time I could get to the meeting. So please indulge me, allow me to sit in and hear what's going on because I feel out of touch.
Hey, great. Glad to have you. Okay.
Minutes ought to note that was the shortest report that Mark Holburn's ever given.
You're welcome, DeBose.
I was going to say something, but the boss beat me to it. Go for it. Bobby, USDA Natural Resource Conservation Service.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that we are in the midst of processing EQIP applications for this year. They should be starting to fund the applications by next month, about the middle of next month. So got quite a few applications for Augusta County and Highland County. I think it's 60 applications, so that's on par with what we usually do. And we'll see if we can get some of them funded. Let's see. They are asking for us to have a working group questionnaire that we answer some questions about the state of conservation in this service center. The cost share committee is due to meet right after this meeting to go over those questions. So I'm assuming that's still on. I guess Rick's not here, but I think we can go over it anyway. So we'll be filling that out. And the other thing Charlie would like for me to talk about the civil rights policy. We have a new committee that's it's there to help if there's any civil rights issues from employment opportunities as well as any discrimination within the program itself for participants. So I have a fact sheet I can send out to the rest of the board. It's got the contacts for this area and for each special emphasis group. So I have that available if you need to. If not, contact me if there's any civil rights things that NRCS could maybe help with. So that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. Any questions of Bobby? Okay, moving right along. Doug Horn, Virginia Cooperative Extension.
I guess I have a few things of note. We're trying to do an educational effort on the spotted lanternfly. It has been found in Augusta County, and it's here a little quicker than we had hoped. If you need any literature or assistance in monitoring that, VDAX and Extension will have a active program of monitoring this year, and hopefully those things won't take on too bad. I'm also doing a spray water quality testing program. I would go now through early summer. I have a grant to survey the well water that farmers are using for spraying, and then have an educational program how that affects the pesticide activity. I wanted to note that Doug Pfeiffer, who was our Clean Water Farm Award, I worked with him last year, recorded some planting green that he did in the heavy cover crop, and the Chesapeake Bay Foundation teamed up with Vantage, and we made a little video. I have the link to that. I haven't posted it on the website yet. Hopefully it'll get onto the Vantage website before the end of the month. And it's a little early yet, but we are having a drinking water clinic in June where we'll look at the residential well water quality. That's pretty much what I have to report.
Okay, great. Thank you, Doug. I notice you don't have any snow in your background.
Not in June of 2019, I guess.
Okay.
Hey, Doug, this is Mark.
Uh-huh.
Got a question. The voluntary Ag BMP inventory project, would you maybe make sure that the district is up to snuff on what's going on in that regard?
Okay, I'm not sure who was going to give that report, but I don't have anything prepared on it.
No, I don't
I
either.
think the latest note I saw at the end of last week from Dan Gorlick, the responses are a little slow coming in. I think there was 120 some completed and another 200 in process. So he was just appealing to the agencies to really push it and try to get as many responses as we could by the March 12th.
March 12th, that's right, yeah. Rachel, has anybody contacted the district with questions about getting that survey completed?
We have not. We kind of had a technician's little bit of a training relayed to what was discussed in the recorded Zoom meeting, so that all of
Yeah.
our staff are aware of it, and that can certainly help if a producer comes into our office. We have shared the survey on our Facebook page. I do not think we had any. There was a couple clicks on it, but I can't obviously tell if any was filled out through that means. So,
How about Bobby Drumheller? Have you done your survey yet? Ponder it. It would be helpful.
And
That's all. I just want to make sure y'all are aware.
yeah, the extension agents, most of us have put out newsletters in the last 2 to 3 weeks and have put the link in our newsletters. But again, like Rachel, we're not sure how many people are responding.
Okay, thanks.
Next up, the Virginia Department of Forestry, Patty, is she on here?
No.
Okay. How about Mary Yuntz for U.S. Forest Service?
No.
I know Leslie's on there. I saw her name.
Hi, yes, I hope you can hear me. I just wanted to provide you with a quick update on a new utility scale solar application that the Community Development Department has reviewed. This is the Round Hill Solar Project located north of Stewart's Draft. The project fronts on Guthrie Road, White Hill Road, Churchman's Mill Road, and Tinkling Spring Road. It's about 800 total acres with about 600 under panel. The application has gone before the Planning Commission for them to determine if it's in substantial accord with the county's comprehensive plan. The Planning Commission determined that the project was not in substantial accord with the county's comprehensive plan. They cited issues related to the kind of disruption of rural view sheds, the conversion of land from agriculture to another use and the effects of that conversion on kind of the larger agricultural economy. So that is being appealed by the applicant. So they are appealing that decision to the Board of Supervisors, and that's set to be discussed at the board's meeting at the end of the month. So that's all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
What's the date of that meeting, Leslie?
The date of the board meeting is February 24th. And it's planned to be on the agenda for the appeal.
Is that on Zoom or in person? They're in person, aren't they?
Yeah, the board does meet in person, and I do believe they live stream the meetings. And if you did want to participate remotely, I mean, there's no specific public hearing on that item. So that's not a public hearing agenda item.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Otis, we cannot hear you if you're trying to speak, but it says you're unmuted.
You're gonna have to do something, Rachel.
I cannot do anything from my end since he's muted now. Now he's unmuted.
Hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now. You're very quiet, but I can hear you.
I'm not sure what's happening. Audio settings. Ooh, input. Let me try this.
That's better. That's worse.
Otis, I had to mute you because you were giving us lots of static.
Is that any better?
That is worse.
Worse. All right, let me go back to automatic. How about that?
It's about the same.
All right, is that any better?
Yes. It's better than it was, yes.
Okay, I'm trying everything over here. Okay, I'm gonna have to go with that. Okay, Department of Environmental Quality, Sarah Bottenfield. I know she has a report, written report. Department of Wildlife Resources, Samantha.
I don't think she is on.
There's somebody on there with a Galaxy Tab 10.5 inch, so I don't know who that is.
That is Miss Judy.
Okay. Okay, Jason Weekly from Department of Health, he's not on here. Austin Horn from Chesapeake Bay Foundation, he's not on here. Friends of the Middle River, Dave, I know you're on here.
Yep, I'm president and accounted for. So first thing I wanted to talk about was Earth Day Stanton. We're still in the planning phase. In fact, there's a planning meeting this afternoon at 4 p.m. And so far, what I've seen are just virtual events are being planned due to COVID-19. And specifically from Friends of the Middle River, we have two activities that we're promoting right now. One is to solicit pictures, photos of the Middle River watershed with narratives about why riparian buffers are important and to whether it be recreation or fishing or whatever. So that's in the planning phase, and then independently of that, I'm promoting an April cleanup in the city of Stanton only. At this point, we're trying to walk before we run on this thing. So I've reached out to the Stanton City Schools to see if we can get this project off the ground and get some students out there and collect trash and catalog it in accordance with the, there's a form that was developed by the AgUTex, that's American Geophysical Union Thriving Earth Exchange. And we've been collecting trash for years, but we've never cataloged it. Well, we've done a little bit, but not comprehensively. So anyway, so this is would check two boxes: education and stewardship. The next question is, Rachel, are you going to be able to attend the meeting this afternoon, the Zoom meeting?
I'm unmuted. Depending on how things go, I currently have an obligation at 2, so we'll see how long that takes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all that.
I said I currently have an obligation at 2 o'clock, so we'll see. I'll try to, but so far it has not worked out.
If you would like, you can forward me any information you might have, or you can forward it to Caroline, either one. you know, just to kind of update the group, because I knew last time there were some questions raised about your project that you had that you were interested in getting kicked off. So and again, anyway, I'd be glad to pick that up for you, or like I say, you can just zip a few lines to Caroline, probably would work. So just making that offer. Next item is Friends of the Middle River now has the new website up and running. If anybody is interested in logging on to that, it's simply friendsofthemiddleriver.org. All lowercase, no breaks, etc. So just a little bit of an update here on the features that the new website has. Is we have some blogs. One is the History of the Middle River by Nancy Sorrells, Fishes of the Middle River by Paul Bugas, and the relationship of the Middle River to the Chesapeake Bay by Bobby Whitescarver. All of general interest in, and some of you may be interested in looking and reading those blogs. The next thing is the Stanton Legacy Tree Project is fast looming in our future. March 13th to 21st. Again, we're looking for people to sign up to help with the tree planting, and you can do that. You can do that on our website if you so choose. The E. coli monitoring. I noticed that there was an agenda item near the end of this agenda. Is that something that somebody else was going to take up, or is that something I should address here? Anyone? Help?
Rhonda, who asked to put that in?
Rachel said to put it on the agenda because we got the email, but it would be good if Dave has something to say about it, or if you wanted to present something.
Okay.
Yeah, especially since the printed copy. I need a huge magnifying glass.
Okay, well, I'll just go ahead with your concurrence and dive into that now. First of all, the January E. coli monitoring of Christians Creek watershed, it showed only 4 of the 12 sites this month that were elevated above what's deemed acceptable measures or numbers, and that's attributed to most of the livestock being kept out of the waters in the cold months of the year. So I don't know that we could deem that as a long-term improvement. But the 2 worst are in the upper reaches of the Christians Creek watershed, and that is the Greenville area. One is extremely high, and one is just rated high. But anyone who's interested in looking at these numbers, again, you can go on our website. Well, I see that Steve just looked at my my monitor. I see that Rachel's published them.
I was coming, Dave. That was Rick on the phone. He was in the birdhouse and wanted to make sure we had a quorum. So. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now this is spreadsheet through December of 2020, and I've been talking about the January 2021 results. But again, if anyone who's interested in this can go on our website and scroll down to the January E. coli data, and you can also get a click on that, and it'll show you a spreadsheet for past months as well, or past periods, I should say. And our premise now is that we pretty well feel like we've got a repeatable data for Christians Creek. So we're we're now going to start focusing on the lower reaches of the river. I mean, we've been publishing all these, in some cases, horrendous results of Christians Creek, so we know there's a problem there. Um, we don't expect that to change until we start enforcing fencing cattle out of streams. So rather than continue doing something that with predictable results, we're looking at shifting our concentration further downstream, say downstream of where Middle River crosses 250 in Churchville, and maybe even Verona area. That's where more of the recreation takes place, and we are interested in knowing what and publishing to the public what the E. coli numbers are there, because that's where more people are actually in the water and where it would affect the public health. So that's pretty much all I have to say about E. coli. Any questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, that pretty well wraps up what I had for today.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Any questions of Dave? Hearing none, let's move on. Oh, before moving on, I mentioned the printed copy. The print was awfully small. I do have a packet this month. I'm still waiting for January's packet. I haven't received that yet. So our mail system hadn't caught up with me. Apparently, since I'm having some sound problems, Michael, could you give the dam report?
Sure. Few things. The in France mid-level gate project has been postponed because of the weather. So that'll pretty much start once, it clears up. Dam inspections have been scheduled for March 24th through the 26th. I'll be sending out a schedule for those involved. Currently trying to prep the dams, Todd Lake and Elkhorn. Forest Service is going to do a control burn. That's going to happen next month. And still working on finishing up some maintenance. Again, the weather kind of hindered things, but it's a work in progress. That's really all I have for dams.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Any questions of Michael? Moving on to finance legislative, Wendy's not here. Is anyone going to report for Wendy?
Yes, she asked me to share that the General Assembly has passed the halfway point where bills that have not passed or are tabled or left in the committee do not progress to the other chamber. So the crossover day was on February the 5th. We've now moved into the special session of the General Assembly and are after crossover, meaning we are on a relatively fast pace to complete work on the budget and the bills. We will continue to receive updates and I will pass them along to the directors.
I noticed that the budget looks pretty good this year for us.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Rhonda.
You're welcome.
Mel, who's going to report for Wendy there?
On the legislature, they also rescinded the fee for using the river, and they're going to have a one-year study. It was in the paper yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, for personnel for Wendy, she wanted me to report that mid-year reviews and conversations were held with the staff the weeks of February the 1st and February 8th, with the exception of Rhonda's, which was held in January for her 6-month evaluation. Overall, we had good discussions. Last year, Rachel had been asked to step into additional responsibilities as the workplace coordinator. This was intended as a temporary position to free up John from the associated duties as the point person and coordinator for staff. He was listed as supervisor for staff, and this responsibility has been eliminated. The intention was that John could then complete projects and tasks following Josh's departure, which no one else has the authority to do, and to help train and mentor the new employees. As the district approaches the end of the fiscal year 2021, attention will need to be focused on how to go forward with these and related workloads. There is hopeful anticipation of the district, state, and nation returning to more normalized operations and interactions by the fall of this year. The Personnel Committee will have the first of what should be several meetings this week, Wednesday, February 17th, aimed at discussing how we want or need to position the district for the work ahead. Many thanks to the staff for their participation in these mid-year discussions.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Yeah, I know we're going to meet tomorrow at
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that's in this where we usually meet, right, Rhonda?
Yeah, the government center.
Right.
The Bose, right?
I'm sorry, Bobby, what?
We're meeting at 10 o'clock, not 9, right?
10 o'clock.
No,
yes.
I had 9 o'clock.
I've got 10 o'clock.
I've got 10 o'clock.
All right. Is it 10 o'clock, Rhonda?
Yes, I'll have to double check once we get off of here, and I'll email you guys all to verify the time.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad I said something. Okay, moving on. Education, Jim.
Thank you, Otis. Well, it looks like, 3 or 4 topics dominate. I'll turn it over to Rachel to talk about Envirothon, the underground classroom, and any interest in scholarships. I know it's early, but have we gotten any interest yet, Rachel?
We have received one application so far.
One application? Okay. All right, if you would tell us about Envirothon, and I think the classroom is self-explanatory. But...
Sure thing, Jim. I can elaborate.
Thank you.
As it's been repeated, Envirothon is virtual this year. So we held a joint training with Area 2 districts on the end of January on the 30th, which was a Saturday. Seemed like we had some really good feedback. We used Zoom for those that were kind of interested in how it went, and then we had breakout rooms for each topic. So we kind of were pinging kids around. Instead of walking around Graves Mountain, they just pinged to a different room. So we had about 50 attendees that kind of stayed steady throughout the day, which was really good. I was personally moderating the wildlife session, which I thought went well. Obviously, it seems like the students aren't as eager to ask questions virtually as they would be in person. But we had to go with what we had. Because of switching to a virtual format, education staff between our 2 areas decided we should probably get together with coaches and host a Q&A session. So we will be scheduling that here towards the end of this month or the 1st of March, before any that need to have local competitions start to have those, to make sure all our ducks are in a row and all that sort of stuff. To help with that, the association is actually hosting a trial run for the state competition on Friday, where districts, service centers have been tasked to put together, if they wish to participate, a team to give Class Marker, which is the platform that the tests will be given in, a trial run. So that will be happening, as far as I know, still on Friday, excuse me. And then just again, for your reference, the dates of our area competition. Right now, Headwaters is not scheduled to have a local competition, as we currently only have one high school that plans to participate this year. I do not see that changing here in the next month, just because of the way.
Fort Defiance again?
Fort Defiance, yes. As Jim's mentioned, our scholarship applications are live. You can find, if you know an interested student, it is on our website, or I have paper copies if they wish to swing by the office. They are due April 5th. The association did make a change. Usually applications were due in March, but with COVID, we have switched to April. So after this point, those that are on the education committee, be aware we'll need to schedule a meeting. We could probably do this virtual as well for the review of the scholarship applications. Underground classroom, the cover is back from repair. Thanks to the staff, it was a joint effort to get that on the trailer. It is still very tight, so it's one of those things that's going to stay on until it needs to come off, because it is a large effort to get that on and off. We actually, right after we put the cover on the trailer, I received an email from Ohio Soil and Water Conservation District that wishes to come tour and look at our trailer. They are interested in, they have what are called board of supervisors, and they're interested in doing something similar at their district and wanted to get to see a few that are out and about.
They give you a time estimate?
I told them whenever the weather cooperates.
Yeah. Well, it's more probably a case that they can't get out than we can get in.
Exactly. One thing that just occurred last week that's not on here, conversations have started with Project Grows, which is the local nonprofit produce farm in Verona at the Old Berry Farm, to couple with them to possibly create a larger field trip experience. They have really good connections with Stanton City schools, which we currently do not. We have better connections with the county, which they currently do not, to kind of put our heads together and create a larger field trip experience for third graders at the farm. So I'm anxious to see if that is able to start this fall, or if we need to, we'll see how everything's going when school starts up next year.
I'd like to include Waynesboro if we could, Rachel.
Yes, that is, both of us have a current working relationship with Waynesboro, but that was our main target, was trying to make connections that neither of us have.
Right.
And lastly, Dave alluded to this with Earth Day Stanton ideas. This is an idea that I have just thought of. It has still not been worked out yet. So once it has, Dave, I will either give that to you or send that to Caroline and the rest of the Earth Day Stanton committee. This is a movie, Kiss the Ground, that is actually on Netflix. So if you have a Netflix subscription, you can certainly watch it. It is a documentary that was done actually partly with USDA and NRCS, I believe. There are some folks in there that I mentioned related to soil health and cover crops and how this will be important as we combat climate change. Felt this definitely goes with the restore theme of Earth Day this year. Still touring with the option if how we would have to host a screening. There is a fee that we would have to pay if we wish to host a screening. So I'm still needing to work out if that's something within our budget and that would work best for the district to pursue. But really good idea with the virtual format. I know this movie was actually shown with the Bridgewater College Environmental Science alumni, which is how I found out about it. Virtual formats can be hit or miss with videos, as with any technology. So don't know if we'll do an outdoor. We'll see how if vaccines are out in more abundance in April. That's just kind of idea I'm toying with. If you have any thoughts, comments on that idea, please let me know. I will gladly take any input. That's all that I have. So unless there's any questions for Jim and I.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Rachel. Okay, Ag and Cost Share, Bobby.
Mr. Chairman, before I get started, I'd like to take this opportunity to just give an update on a personal situation. I recently became a foster dad to two twins. They're 2 years old. They're about to turn 3, a boy and a girl. So I say that because the last few weeks have been, I've had my hands full, to say the least.
It's just starting, Bobby.
Yeah, yeah. So,
No explanation needed.
How old are they, Bobby?
they're 2 years old, about to turn 3 in March. So,
Oh, the good times.
oh yeah, a fun time. It's fun.
Congratulations, Bobby.
Yeah, congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you, thank you. And I say that because some of my duties have I've neglected some of my duties, but as soon as my wife and I get it back into a routine, I'm going to plan to spend a few days with Christian and Matthew, especially, as well as the other technicians, just to make sure we're all, working together well. And
Bobby, what
everybody's on
year
the
is
same page.
that going to be?
I'm sorry, Otis, say that again.
What year is that going to be?
Yeah, 16 years from now. No, I'm just kidding.
I think 16 may be optimistic.
Yeah. So, just wanted to say that. So we'll start here with the approvals for this month. We've got a list of BMPs here in front of you. I make the motion that we approve the 6 BMPs as listed.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, the motion made to approve the BMPs as listed. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Excuse me, got to go back down the list. Let's start with Doug.
I approve.
DeBose.
Aye.
Buzz.
Aye.
Bobby.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Next up, there is one appeal for WP4, which is a waste storage facility for $2,281.30. I make the motion that we approve that appeal.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made to approve the appeal, the one appeal. Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Gotta do it.
Bobby.
Oh, aye.
Buzz.
Aye.
DeBose.
Aye.
And Doug.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Next, there's a VCAP practice for a mulched bed for $3,500. I make the motion we approve that.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made to approve the VCAP practice. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, of those in favor, say aye. Doug.
Aye.
DeBose.
Aye.
Buzz.
Aye.
Bobby.
Aye.
Motion passed.
We've had 7 nutrient management plans written and come to our office. I make the motion that we approve those.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, nutrient management plans, motion made and properly seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Bobby.
Aye.
Buzz.
Aye.
DeBose.
Aye.
Doug.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And last, there's a couple of tax credit certificates, one for a forestry practice, one for a grazing land practice. I make the motion we approve those as listed.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion to approve the tax credit certificates properly made and seconded. Any further discussion on those? Hearing none, excuse me, those in favor say aye, starting with Doug.
Aye.
DeBose.
Aye.
Buzz.
Aye.
Bobby.
Aye.
Tax credit certificates approved.
Okay. The cost share committee held a meeting last Tuesday. And we have scheduled a meeting after this meeting to answer the working group questionnaire as I reported in the NRCS report. I'm assuming we can still do that. I know Charlie do it. I was here, but that's okay. One thing out of that meeting, DCR is requesting if we could transfer any funding. Recommendation was to wait until March. And we may, if we have money left over, we may be able to transfer some money to some different districts at that time, but we want to wait until March to make sure that there's no sign up, any projects signed up that would be good that we would like to fund. So that may be coming next month. Let's see. Also, moving forward on the agenda, skipping a section, there's a tillage and residue survey out, and I believe Christian, you volunteered to help for that. Would you like to speak on that?
Yeah. So the meeting on last Friday was basically to cover whether or not districts. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Whether or not districts would like to do it because of COVID and everything else, and they just briefly went over. So basically, the district would have to do is 2 people would drive around the district, going north to south, east to west, and every single time you reached a ag land that was crop land, you'd start surveying both sides of the road and seeing if it had 15, less than 15, 15 to 30, 30 to 60, or 60 above amount of residue on the ground. And then you would mark that on the survey sheet. And then from that point on, our district is required to go stop every 0.2 miles until we get out of agricultural land. And then we'd stop and then until we drive back into agricultural land and then begin the survey all over again. The amount of points that we have to have for DCR is 498. And then the amount of grant money that we have to do this is $2,200. We can contract this out to somebody to do if the board doesn't think that we have enough time to do it. Being said, we have until June 30th to get it done. And there's they would like us to do it in like 2 different sections. So May and June is when they plant beans, and that's when they would like to do those fields. And then all other fields before then. Stu Blankenship was asked how we know which fields are planted with which crop, and they said that was more of a guideline, and that more information would be given to us this Friday. But that was pretty much what the meeting was last Friday, just an overview of the whole project in general.
Okay, do we want to vote on that, whether we have the time and resources to do that?
Well, the question I was going to ask is what kind of time and resources are we looking at?
I think we need to discuss it with Rachel also, Rachel and John.
Well, you're going to be looking at, this is going to take 2 people. It really should be the same 2 people to make sure the survey is accurate. Christian said 498 points, stopping every 0.2 of a mile to receive those points. So, and what was it, $2,200, I believe, would be the reimbursement grant funding that the district would receive for doing this.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's what we have. Granted, you know how busy our staff is. If we are tasked with doing it, we'll find a way to get it done. I am not sure in the past. I believe it was said that Headwaters had did this before. I do
Yeah.
not know if we contracted it out then, if regular technician staff did it. That's before my time here.
So I've just figured it up, right? It was, you said $2,200 and 2 people. That's 55 staff hours per person, assuming the employee makes $20 an hour.
Not including
So,
gas in the vehicle.
Yes, it would be gas, vehicle time.
yeah.
Rachel, can you talk to John and see what he thought about it the first time or the last time?
The last time this was contracted out to an employee who had just left us to go to DEQ, and he conducted the tillage survey. I'm not sure that it was as extensive as what they're talking about now, but it was contracted out the last time. I'm not sure. Staff will have to get together and kind of discuss it. And,
but I do
John,
believe, sorry, John, keep going.
I'm done.
This is Mark. Just for a point of reference, the deal 5 years ago was $2,065 for 412 points. So the point total for this time is bumped up a little bit, as Christian said, 498. So just for what it's worth, it's a little bit more work than last time, a little bit more money.
I don't have enough information, and I think Rachel and the staff have got to decide this. I'm not comfortable taking a vote on it today.
Well,
And I would say that's
just so you're
fine.
aware, I believe Christian said that Stu, they need an answer pretty quickly if our district wishes to participate in this.
Or do they?
Yeah, so Stu said that at the very latest March 3rd, but he would like to have an answer before then, preferably after the meeting, sometime after the meeting on Friday, either the week after, because they have to get the grant written for each district in the mid-March timeframe. So
I think we can do that as long as they don't have to have an answer this week. I think next week we could give them an answer. Maybe have a meeting with Rachel and John, and or at least Rachel send out something to all the directors and we make a decision then.
What's your best guess on how long it would take? 2 days, 3 days, a whole week?
John, how long did it take last time?
Since I didn't do it personally, I don't know. I think James Moneymaker is the one that we contracted with to do this.
Yeah.
And I think it took a number of weekends for him to do it. One possibility, in order to have it, I'm assuming this has to be inputted somehow, either into tracking or some other database.
Into a spreadsheet, John.
Into a spreadsheet.
It's a piece of paper.
All right, just a piece of paper. It would be good possibly if we could have one outside person and then one district person, so we keep control of it and know what's going on. Because I'm assuming that in another 5 years, they'll want to repeat this, sort of like the national resource inventory, so that they can keep some idea on it. So it probably ought to be a district employee involved, but possibly have the second person be someone that we would pay by the hour, or possibly a volunteer that could help with this. So that I think the best idea is what y'all have already stated. Just give us a few days to ponder several options and then come back with you with a solution for this.
Rachel, if you'll give us the pros and cons and send us an email next week to the board members, I think we could get together and do it, make a decision.
That sounds good. Christian and I will both be attending this training on Friday. So I'll get with him and we'll discuss how we feel after hearing exactly what we will need to do, and then touch base with you all the first of next week.
That sounds good to me.
But we wanted to get this on your radar now that you all were, so you all are aware.
Yeah, but is this
Would the board at this point be comfortable delegating authority? Since your next board meeting in March would be presumably beyond, well, it would be beyond that drop dead date that Christian mentioned, if you want to make a commitment or not.
I
I think we
suggest
can
that
have a
we-
consensus with the board next week after Rachel and Christian send out their pros and cons and with input from John.
We'll have to
Question
go
I
into
have is-
session, won't we?
Really, to make a business decision like this, you would need to, have a meeting.
Why don't you appoint the chairman of the cost share committee and the chairman of the board to make final decision to participate? I really believe we need to participate. I think the question is how we're going to do it and what's the best method. I think our farmers should be represented in this survey work. We have a lot of good work being done out here. I think it needs to be reflected. And so I would like to see, I'd like to see our farmers represented in this survey. So I think we ought to make a commitment to do it, but how, I'm not real sure. So I would think that the board today could probably appoint those two, since it kind of falls under their purview more, the chairman of the board and the chairman of the cost share committee to make the final commitment to DCR sometime before the deadline.
I'll make a motion that we appoint the cost share chairman and the chairman of the board to make the decision on what the staff comes up with the best way to do this. I do think it could be a very good learning experience for our staff, and I'm like John, I'd like to see one of our staff do it anyway.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion made to approve, appoint Rick Shiflett and Bobby Drumheller to make the final decision on the tillage residue survey. Any further discussion? Those in favor, starting with Bobby?
Aye.
Buzz?
Aye.
DeBose?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Okay. The last thing, just to speak about, I had the technical staff at my farm on January 28th, and we held a little training, just mainly talking about conservation planning, just kind of an overview, and looking at watering troughs and stream crossings and fencing, and basically just trying to figure out how what we do fits in with what farmers do and how it can improve a farm and benefits we can have. So I just wanted to mention that. So I believe that concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. Any further questions of Bobby? Okay, resource management plan, technical review committee.
No report. No resource management plans have come in the door.
Okay. Thank you, Bobby. Urban conservation, DeBose.
There's been no activity since the weather's been pretty bad.
Okay. I'm getting tired of pushing snow. So I can relate to that. Forestry.
I'm not, I get paid for it.
I don't. Forestry riparian buffer, Charlie Huppock, he's not here.
And Charlie tried to get on. I called him back and tried to give him a few pointers, but I'm not the best at it either. But he just could not get on this morning. He attempted it, and it just didn't work. But he didn't make the effort.
Yeah, I don't see him on here either. Okay, easements, Charlie. Not here. Land use, Charles Horn. Not here. Pure Water Forum, I have no report. And that takes us down to other business. Area 1 spring meeting to be held virtually, date to be determined. Looking, who's responsible for this year's meeting? Are
We
we?
are assuming that falls on us and Shenandoah Valley since we have 2 area co-chairs for Area 1, which is Kevin Cron with Shenandoah Valley and Rick Shiflett with Headwaters. Normally, when we meet in person, there is a district that hosts, but since we're meeting virtually, we did not know. I actually will be meeting with Megan Dalton later this week. If you recall from our winter meeting, we used our Zoom account, which is the Headwaters Zoom account, to host the meeting. It seemed like that went well, so we're planning to do that again. The big thing is the association reminded us we have $200 that the area would receive to support our area spring meeting. This year they're envisioning that, whether that being specific guest speakers, an educational topic, what have you. But I wanted just to throw out to you all, if you had a specific suggestion or a topic you would like to see covered at this spring meeting, to let me know. We have received one suggestion so far from the Natural Bridge District, which would be to talk about the Soil Health Coalition. If you recall, if you attended the virtual association meeting, one of the topics related to that was creating a soil health initiative. There, I think, was a flyer shared at our area meeting as well. Natural Bridge District would like to see more a discussion of related to soil health, the Soil Health Coalition that would be created. I wanted to see if you all had other topic suggestions that we should consider, or certain things you want us to talk about.
And you're also looking for an educational guest speaker?
Yes, that's the example of the soil health topic that Natural Bridge suggested.
Okay. So any suggestions, please forward them to Rachel.
Right now, we're looking to host that the last week of April. We will obviously, after this week, I should have the date that the Area 1 listserv will pass along to everyone.
Okay. E. coli monitoring results for Christians Creek watershed. We've already talked about that. So, any further business?
No, I would like to remind Rhonda to confirm the personnel committee time.
Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If that meeting, well, go ahead. That's okay. I started to say something, but I'll skip it. Any further business? With that, I would adjourn the meeting. Thank you, people.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Rachel,
you.
John, everybody.
You're welcome. For those wanting to stick on for the cost share committee, I will stop recording this meeting and then we'll have to start recording that meeting. So.
Okay, thank you.